This one is very spicy, so let's just make sure we keep this one. As this story gets increasingly terrifying, we'll keep this one family-friendly, guys. We got to be careful. Texas rancher killed by suspected cartel IED on Mexican border as authorities warn of growing threat. Yeah, Trump's been warning of this threat. A Texas border rancher was killed near the border by a suspected cartel IED earlier this month, the Texas Department of Agriculture told the Post Tuesday, as officials issued an urgent safety warning for the Rio Grande Valley. Rancher Antonio, how do you pronounce that? Cespedes Saldierna, 74, who worked on both sides of the border, along with Horacio Lopez Pena, were killed in the blast in Tamaulipas, Mexico, which is just south of Brownsville, Texas. Lopez's wife, Ninfa Griselda Ortega, was hospitalized with injuries. Man, take a look at this. The blast occurred just south of Brownsville. So, look, Texas Agricultural Commissioner Sid Miller said the deadly explosion is part of a growing threat posed by cartel activity and encourages ranchers to exercise extreme caution. I encourage everyone in the agricultural industry to stay vigilant, remain aware of their surroundings, and report any suspicious activity to law enforcement. Additionally, you can avoid dirt roads in remote areas, refrain from touching unfamiliar objects that could be explosive devices, limit travel to daylight hours, stay on main roads, and avoid cartel-controlled regions. This is
just avoid Mexico. Is what?
This is important. This is presumably an American man, 2 American men, presumably. I don't know. Texas rancher. Donald Trump has named many of these cartels as terrorist organizations, which opens the door to drone strikes.
Exactly.
Yep.
What action would Donald Trump take, knowing that Americans are now being killed by individuals suspected to be cartels planting bombs?
The United States has used our military to go after cartels in the past, and it's not so there is precedent for this. I don't think that it's outside of the realm of possibility to think that the U.S. will just put drones in the air over Mexico. Mexico does not have the ability to say no. They don't have the ability to stop us. I don't think they have a significant air force. I don't know about Mexico's military, but if they can't keep the cartels from taking over significant portions of the country, I'm confident they don't have the ability to stop the United States. And if the Mexicans, it was 36 people were murdered, 36 people that were trying to become the Mexican president until Sheinbaum finally they allowed her to become the president. 36 people. The Mexican government is not in control of Mexico. It's the cartels.
Yeah.
So the United States has legitimate reason to say, look, if you can't control this territory and these people are actually killing Americans on American soil, then we're going to do something.
The trafficking alone has killed millions and millions and millions upon Americans. I would like to see, what do we do? Let's send in a Predator drone to Mexico. Take these guys out. What's Mexico going to do about it? How are they going to stop it?
They can't even keep this. They can't even keep
this
the
is
name of
arguably
their
a
own body of
declaration,
water.
a declaration of war on Mexico.
We're talking roadside bombs right at the border. You gotta be kidding me.
Where was it? So I know that it's on the border, but the border's a very, very thin line. Where was it? Was it in the United States or was it in Mexico?
A lot of these ranches, they sort of span.
Where was the bomb?
Right, that's the question.
Because the wall is not the marker of the border.
It was in Mexico.
It was in Mexico?
Yeah.
All right.
It was a drone then, an IED, or was
No.
it just it was in
It was
the
an
ground?
IED.
Oh,
and they're saying that it was in Mexico, south of Brownsville, Texas. Okay. But was it an American man working on both sides? If Americans are being killed at, near, or south of the border, we've got a problem. So I don't know that we could drone strike. Because Congress would need to have to make a declaration. Mexico would have to be involved. You could theoretically issue mark and reprisal letters, but now you're basically saying we're going to allow privateers to go onto the border to deal with the cartels. And that's opening up the door to more chaos than there already is. To be fair, though, I'm not saying we do nothing. Something has to be done to deal with this. Maybe the heavy troop presence will be enough. I don't know.
It's possible that we also know you have to figure out when the IED was placed, too. When was it placed? Was it recent? Are they further militarizing themselves at this point? Against a possible incursion by American troops? What's going on there? Why was this IED placed in that location? And I don't know if you've been. I just got back from this area, south of Brownsville, Texas, Matamoros, which is Tamaulipas, whatever it is. That's the Mexican state. Where Matamoros is, and you have this wall, and you see these big gates in the wall because Americans own farms that are on both sides of the wall. So it's it's a good chance that this guy owned the farm that straddles the border and just went directly over and they placed it in his farm.
Right.
So that's.
And you had the story of the guy in Arizona who got criminally charged with shooting an illegal immigrant passing over his property.
Yeah.
And he said, I can't remember exactly what he said, but there were gunshots and he fired back and then they didn't care. And the Biden administration wanted to make sure that he went to prison. I mean, the Biden administration was abject evil in the targeting of just regular Americans over insane things.
I'm not sure that I'm not positive about this, but if the cartels are designated as terrorists, it might still the authorization to use a military force might still cover that.
I believe it does. I believe it does.
The AUMF that they gave to Bush was for the Middle East.
Was it region specific?
The authorization for use of military force, I believe, was specifically targeting the Middle East.
Because I thought that it was the authorization to go after international terror rings because they were all over the country or all over the world.
It was the AUMF in 2001 for Bush was specifically to go after those who planned, authorized, committed, or aided the September 11th attacks.
Okay, so then what was
there was a 2003 AUMF
that was to go into Iraq because Congress didn't want to vote on war.
I believe, yeah. I believe that was 03. Authorization for use of military force 03. Oh, okay, maybe not. That was 2002. Okay. And it was specifically for Iraq.
Okay.
But does anybody really believe that Trump is going to base his decision as to whether or not he'll drone strike cartels based on what the Mexican president has to say about it?
Again, the Mexican president is a puppet. Like, there's no question.
She wouldn't have gotten in there. There's no way for her to get in there. With
36 people died, and then she was the one that got elected. And why did they let her in? Because she's a puppet.
If you genuinely wanted to get rid of the cartels in Mexico, if you're the Mexican president, why would you work so hard to block the greatest, the strongest, most capable military in the world from going in there and eradicating the cartels? I mean,
you remember how many candidates were assassinated though before they elected this Mexican president?
Like, this one can go. This one.
The United States literally should just say, "Listen, you don't have the ability to stop this. Americans are dying, so we're going to stop it."
Mm-hmm. No, any action that Mexico takes, I've seen it myself. Even I know Trump has put more pressure on them now, and they might be doing something a little bit different. But I was down there, I was standing next to the Mexican National Guard. They saw people being trafficked over the border. They chose to do nothing about it. They were like, oh, well, they're too far gone. We can't locate them. So I went on foot myself and went and tracked down these people that were being trafficked over the border by the cartels. They're not interested in stopping it. It's all a farce. They're just acting like it. In their mind, they don't have any incentive to do so. They can't be trusted. It has to be our troops at the end of the day.
Okay,
what did you guys think of this proposal for like a privateer type of
market
force?
reprisal?
Yeah, what did you guys think about that?
I think it's a bad idea. I don't know. Look, you're basically telling Mexico we're authorizing PMCs, private groups, to go in there and start dealing with cartels, which is going to be war on their.
That seems warish, yeah.
Well, it's not that we're declaring war, but basically like we'd basically be saying you've got cartels. We're going to be sending in our violent guys with guns to go stop them, and it's going to be chaos in Mexico.
Right.
They're going to be like, nah.
Mexico has already been trying to like sue American gun manufacturers.
Yeah. I mean,
market reprisal may be the only answer. That may just be no good answer.
The idea that the response to the United States declaring the cartels terrorists, the response by the Mexican government, by the President Sheinbaum, is that we're going to expand legal action against gun manufacturers in the United States. That's absolutely ridiculous because they're blaming people that make guns in the U.S. for sale in the U.S. for the problems of the cartels. You don't have the ability to police your own damn country, and you're blaming arms manufacturers in the United States. Unacceptable.
They don't even attempt to try to stop the flow into Mexico. I mean,
because they'll die.
I went into Mexico without a passport. I just walked across the border because they don't ask for it. You just walk through. Okay, you could. They have no idea what I have.
You went to a non-port of entry. You're saying?
No. I went to a port of entry, and I just walked through. I mean, not that you couldn't just walk. Across around the wall.
When you drive in, they just wave you through. Yeah. You don't stop.
Wow.
You from the United States into Mexico, from San Diego to Tijuana, you're driving and you slow down to like 5 miles an hour, and they just go.
Nope.
Just fan you in. When you're coming back, however, the Americans stop and check your passports.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's a bad idea to do the privateering, because it could just open the door to what we've seen in Ukraine, where people just are selling arms like on the black market.
Is that what's going on in Ukraine?
I mean, I've
because you've been there.
We reported on that a few years ago when Jack and I went over. But yeah, they will offer donations to mercenaries, and then you send your money over there, and it just gets spent on totally different things as what you sent the money for.
So is that actually one of the, and you may or may not know this, but there's like, we don't know where a lot of the stuff went that we sent over there, or these billions and billions and billions. So is that what's happening? It's being sent over there, and then it's being sold off, being auctioned off, being given to mercenaries? Like, what's the...
Well, that's what I witnessed when I was over there. I can't say that's the case for 100% of the money.
Well, nobody knows where 100% of the money is. Nobody knows where 50% of the money is at this point. So,
no. Well, apparently, as we saw in Tucker, a lot of the arms that went over there ended up getting into the hands of the cartels.
Yep. Yeah.
Coming back for us.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.